Town Board for the town of Tustin, September 14th. If you please rise and join me in the pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Under opening news 1.3, our fall cleanup day has been rescheduled for Saturday, September 25th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. with no tires will be accepted. A reminder that the water department will be flushing fire hydrants October 18th and 19th from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. Cannabis marijuana presentation with David Holland will be held at the Narrowsburg Union on Saturday, October 2021. The times are to be confirmed, either 4 to 6 or 5 to 7. Mr. Holland was going to give a presentation at this meeting. He wanted to reschedule to the October meeting, and Crystal called him tonight, and he is conflict with the October meeting, so he had already said that there was going to be one at the Union. Under correspondence, I have one correspondence from Stephanie Merkel. Suggestions for improvements, photos attached for easy reference regarding signage, clusters hard to see. The highway superintendent had a conversation with her. However, she does have one in there with the suggestion that 10 Mile River access road should be one way only. It's nearly impossible to have cars pass each other. Seems cars backing up or they will pull so far over to the edge it is danger. The highway superintendent has bounced that back to the town board for their recommendation, as it would be required for a resolution from us. So I have that under new business to discuss that. Payment of bills. Bills were audited by the deputy supervisor and Councilman Smith. Our general fund expended $41,658.03. The highway fund, $45,562.19. The water fund, $13,526.45. The sewer fund, $29,671.41. The lighting fund, $610.76. For a total of $131,028.84. Were there any questions or comments regarding the bills?
Please speak louder.
I'd just like to confirm that there was one bill there for the Brandy's committee.
Okay.
Okay.
CET.
Just want to make sure that it's coming out of there. Grant, and not from the town office.
That would come out, yes.
So there will be a transfer because I didn't see what, unless it's a specific account.
It usually comes right out of the grant account that they have, but I will recheck that to make sure.
Ben,
Yes.
it is the fund allocation line is for the work.
It is. Okay.
It's on the top left of the vouchers, Al, and that tells Kelly what fund appropriation to take it out of. So that does fall with the general fund.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And the other question I have is, I noticed that there was an extra journal today. And that journal includes the payroll and other costs for the payroll, which I think Jane had requested at the last meeting. And I think that that should be signed off by everybody that's ordering the bills.
No, I like to want to see the payroll.
Okay. So you'll just have to sign off on that.
Okay.
Because you signed off on it
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that will be part of our auditing process.
And that's it.
Any other questions? I would entertain a motion to pay the bills as presented.
So moved.
I have a motion from Jane, a second. Second by Al, all in favor? Aye, opposed.
please have the board members speak a little bit louder and clear? Difficult for them to hear Al and Jake.
Okay, our microphone for the meeting is on top of that. It is not directional, so when you face it, you should be able to hear. Okay.
Sorry.
Division reports for the month of August. Highway utilized 998 gallons of diesel fuel, 934 gallons was for the highway, and 64 was non-highway. 388 gallons of gas for highway. 3 was for highway, and 384 gallons for non-highway use. They patched holes on dirt and paved roads. They mowed the right-of-ways along the roads. They cut trees on Ackerman and Bear Run. They repaired washouts and graded grassy Perry Pond, Smith Hughes, Lackawaxen, and 10 Mile River A. They replaced driveway pipes in Lackawaxen, and they ditched Coshocton Turnpike, Grassy, and Lackawaxen.
Were they the ones that removed the trees that, well, this is August, sorry, never mind.
Water and sewer completed monthly drinking water and wastewater sampling and reporting, made adjustments to the chlorinator at the sewer plant as needed to maintain the federal and state standards on the effluent wastewater. Did meter readings every Wednesday in the month of August to track down leaks inside of buildings and notified a few homeowners of possible leaks. They continued the maintenance on the sand beds by removing weeds and sludge and replacing landscape fabric around the edges. Continued checking septic tanks by digging up the inlet lid. Greg, Brad, and Chris attended a 10-hour OSHA safety class provided by the New York Rural Water Association. Overline pumped out sludge from dosing tanks and chlorine tanks to the sewer plant. They dug up 8 septic tanks to pump out. They repaired a broken water curve valve on 97. New barrel of caustic soda at the sewer plant. They mowed the grass at all water and sewer properties. They responded to 7 dig requests and responded after hours 2 times for the Kirk Road pump station overheating. They installed 4 risers over the inlet side of the septic tanks and 2 new risers over the center of the tank. They replaced 1 meter base and 2 new radio heads, responded to call about a sewer backup on Oak Street, dug up the inlet side and did not find the issue. Contractor found the broken pipe between the tank and the house. Financial reports. Water metered rent was $6,115.80. Sewer service charge was $861.72. The water penalty was $236.55. Received from the water department $7,214.07. Sewer rents were $16,669.97. Service charge of $24. Sewer penalties of $1,793.16. Received from the sewer department $24,701.20 for a total of $43,491.29. I believe Dave is on it. Anybody have any questions from the sewer and water?
I have a question. I mentioned it to you, Ben, that there's that leak by 2 Queens in the parking lot, and you were going to check to see if it was where it was, and have Dave take a look at that.
Yeah, I believe Dave mentioned that is the responsibility of the business owner.
Okay, so that's Pete's Market, those folks?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Building department and code enforcement had 20 construction inspections, 1 fire and safety inspection, 3 complaint violation inspections, 2 certificate of occupancies, 12 certificate of compliance, 15 building permits, 3 new homes, 1 accessory building, 3 camping, 1 driveway permit, 2 electrical, 1 mechanical, 1 pool, 2 roof replacements, 1 septic permit. They had 12 C of O violation searches. They received 2 complaints. They issued 2 violations. 2 violations were corrected. Monies collected by the office from August 1st to the 31st were $4,782.
That really is a lot of different activity going
It is.
on in that department.
I believe last month was just over $6,000 in collected monies.
Just
The assessor's report for August. The assessor attended the Sullivan County Association's meeting and took online seminar and solar evaluation, which is trying to be done according to regulations being developed by the Department of Taxation. will require each assessor with commercial solar arrays to put certain values pertaining to the individual array into a formula which then can self-populate certain other fields and arrive at a value for the array. This calculation will be done annually for each tentative roll. And it could be with greater accuracy and consistency and would not be as open to litigation in the other variables. August was a deadline for submitting the information for the printing of school tax bills. Before sending the information, an update had to be completed to all the computers in each municipality. And starting this update, the computer to the town office, because the internet is stronger than I have at home, and found it was not able to move the cursor on the screen. Jeff Turba got it going again, and update was installed. August is also the month for the quarterly sales report to be submitted. It was found in a different location on the computer due to the new program update. The help from the tax department, the report was attached, but soon the remote session ended and the report went away. After failed attempts, Department of Taxation again got involved and the method to attach report was clarified and was finally submitted. Is Sue on for the Upper Delaware Council? She's probably not, because I have a feeling she is at the meeting.
Yeah, she's like, yeah.
Jane had to leave the meeting to represent the town for a grant application. She may be back before, depending on how that went. The Upper Delaware Council tag grant application from Tustin is being reviewed now. Jane will let us know the results. Evan Powder was attending the project review special meeting tonight in my place. Is she on? Sounds like she's here.
You know, I don't know, is she here? Her son is here visiting. So she might
Okay.
not be-
That's fine. As you read this, many of you attended the UDC's annual banquet where Ed Jackson received the volunteer award. It was well attended, and as always, staff did a great job. The DEC has been approached by the Boy Scouts 10 Mile River regarding a DEC purchase of land, which would include conservation of the property and produce revenue for them. The Boy Scouts say they plan to continue with the summer scouting program. There are also new deer and bear hunting regulations, so those interested can go to the DEC website. Under miscellaneous, it is rumored that the NPS removed the accumulated tires and debris upstream of the Stone Arch Bridge at 10 Mile River. So many thanks, because of the Hurricane Ida, it was truly needed to protect the bridge. Grateful to all those involved. Friends of the Upper Delaware are hosting their Water Everywhere Conference, October 12th through 14th. There will be a report on knotweed mitigation program, $25 per person, and reserved by October 4th. I believe it is virtual. We'll call them if you're interested. Peters Falls Milanville Bridge, the River Reporter has done a great job keeping the community informed about this issue. The Interstate Bridge Commission Project Advisory Committee meetings on 9/23 to share the results of their linkage traffic study. Lori Ramey is a member of that committee and will be attending. Randy's on for the energy.
Good evening. Horse operations. In the last few weeks, Impact Bioenergy in Seattle, maker of the horse, sent replacement parts, which Scott Porter installed and tested over many hours. A final step was an issue with the function of the metering valve. After troubleshooting and testing over the last week, Scott reports at the end of the day on Monday, August 30th, all is working as designed. The Botanist is the first Tustin restaurant to feed the horse. The Heron begins contributing next week. Then we'll feed the Tustin horse with food scraps from Pete's Market, the Blue Fox, the Laundrette, and Two Queens. And look out for participating Tustin food merchant stickers at their locations throughout town. We have a SUNY Sullivan contact for partnership on operations and training, who Jennifer Porter will talk to soon. We are building our volunteer operating team. RIT Research, a Rochester Institute of Technology student professor team, is interested in the 2021 to 2022 graduate case study research about the Tustin horse, with the goal to understand the social, environmental, and financial drivers of a distributed model for food waste processing and energy production. And lastly, the soft plastic collection in Tustin is now over 11,000 pounds, which has been recycled by Trex, creating durable decking and benches. To date, the TEC has yielded 5 free benches from Trex, The fifth one's in the mail. I just got that today. And it's been over 2 years with some tremendous efforts. I appreciate everybody contributing. Thank you to all who are committed to protecting the environment, wildlife, fish, the river, our community and planet with this recycling recovery program. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandy. Any questions from the board? 2.7, our zoning update committee has not begun to meet. 2.8 grants. Today, Jane, as I said, will be addressing the UDC board to defend our grant application for the zoning update and parking lot plans. On the Little Lake Erie culvert, we're waiting to receive the right-of-way approval from one of the residents. Water infrastructure project, myself and Jane met with Aileen Guthrie to request state funding for the water infrastructure project. She has assigned a staff member to research opportunities. The William Pomeroy Foundation, our letter of intent to place a historical marker at the old model schoolhouse has been accepted. The formal application is due early October and has completed the annual federal registration update for the SAM system, the System of Ward Management. I'm sorry? Yeah, that's what I was checking. Old business 3.1, our municipal day cleanup. I need to re-motion that. We've had a conflict with the last time in getting dumpsters. So I make a motion to reschedule the municipal cleanup day for Saturday, September 25th at 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. I get a motion from Jill. I will second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed. 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and no tires. Uh, 3.2, introduction of local law number 1 of 2021. A local law adopted pursuant to cannabis law section 131, opting out of licensing and establishing retail cannabis dispensaries and on-site cannabis consumption establishments within the town of Tustin. This is a reading of the law that will be put forth for our public comments. Be resolved that introductory local law number 1 of the year 2021 entitled a local law adopted pursuant to cannabis law section 131, opting out of licensing and establishing retail cannabis dispensaries and on-site cannabis consumption establishments within the town of Tustin, Sullivan County, New York, is hereby introduced before the town board of the town of Tustin, County of Sullivan, State of New York. And further resolved, the copies of the aforesaid local law have been laid upon the desk of each member of the town board. And be it further resolved that the town board hold a public hearing on the aforesaid local law at the town of Tustin Town Hall, 210 Bridge Street, in Harrisburg, New York, at 6:15 p.m. prevailing time on October 12, 2021. Be it further resolved that the town clerk publish or cause to be published a public notice in the River Reporter of such public hearing at least 5 days prior thereto. Any questions from the board on that? Comments? I'm going to make the motion. I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Please speak better.
Okay, we're going to open up public comment. Public comment will be first opened up. We will do the floor here. I would ask anybody having public comment to come up and stand by the desk in order to be heard through the microphone. After we're done with public comment on the floor, it will be turned over to the clerk to let me know of any Zoom participants. And after public comment, we will go on to new business. I've heard any public comment from the floor. Lane. No, that's fine.
Okay.
Just face that way.
Okay, cool. Yeah, hi, William Merritt, I live in town. I wanted to just sort of voice my frustration that Arbor Loche has not been able to open yet. My understanding is that an injunction has been filed by a neighboring business. I don't know if anybody on the board can address that, but you know, our restaurants are struggling right now. A lot of people who come to town can't find a place to eat, can't find a place to get a drink. They've clearly invested a lot of money. They're almost there. And I really hope that the town can do something to help this place open this year. It's already almost a year late. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Star?
I apologize for being late. I assume you would not come up. I just want to ask if everybody would please hold off whether you're pro or con on the marijuana situation. There's going to be a very inclusive discussion by a knowledgeable professional on this issue. And whether you're for it or against it, I think you would benefit by listening to what this person has to say. I think Randy will be able to give us the date of this, but it will be well advertised. And I really urge people to don't make a judgment before you've heard of all sides of that issue. Thank you.
Michael?
Just wanted to clarify, obviously, you've got the upcoming law for consideration, but I thought at the last meeting, you turned it down.
No, what happened, we have not voted.
What was the process that happened there?
We discussed it
Right.
on what the feeling of the board was.
Right.
The feeling of the board was to put forth an opt-out because we are not allowed to opt out after the 31st of December. So we put forth an opt-out. And what will happen is after the public hearing, the board will then vote on whether they want to continue to opt out or whether they will opt in. So the vote will be an up or down vote on whether.
But that was not binding what happened.
Correct.
Okay, that was I had the sense that there was a sense. Okay.
I can understand.
I'm gonna pro against the spot thing. Is it, I'm just curious, is it a public referendum at the end of the day, or is it a board thing?
It depends on what the vote is. If after the public hearing, if the board votes to opt out of the local or out of the state law, then it can go to referendum.
Brendan? Just an update on that, Randy. I don't know if this is, I don't want to steal your thunder, but what Star mentioned, there's going to be an open meeting with someone who's a professional in the industry of cannabis to speak about cannabis on Saturday, October 9th in the afternoon. It'll be held at the Union. It'll be open to everyone. It'll be advertised across Sullivan County.
Weird. So it is now.
Please go ahead. No,
Just a clarification, Brendan, it says second on here is the 9th.
What does it say?
I may have accidentally put the second.
It says the second on the agenda.
Yeah, I don't know how it got there.
The ninth.
Based on phone conversations I had yesterday, it looks like it's going to be the 9th.
Okay.
Anything is subject
All
to
right.
change.
This is non-marijuana related. Just, I wanted to, being an owner of a business in town, my daughter being an owner of a business in town, we just would like, we know you're working on a parking issue. We'd also like you to think about the bathroom issue. We're getting slammed with people that aren't our customers coming in, demanding our bathrooms, not treating them nicely, and we definitely have a shortage of bathrooms in the town. And if someone presents a plan to you for zoning, I believe that every business should allow their patrons to use their bathroom, not send them to somebody else to use it. And I know we have a lot of big buildings going up Main Street, and we don't know what's going to go in there, but I think that that's something that needs to be considered. Or can the town possibly do a public bathroom? But there's a lot of people coming here, they got to urinate, they got to defecate, they got to go somewhere, so it's a problem. Thank you.
well said. Kevin,
Hi, Jacob Kelly. I live in Kent. To touch on earliest points, I'm really concerned that one business would impede another's business ability to actually open and operate. I don't think it's right, and I think it should be addressed. And secondly, on the cannabis law, I just learned about it, and I think it's concerning the way it's being framed right now, where the town had opt out by default, which essentially sets the conversation up and sets the tone for the rest of the conversation. I didn't know, again, it's going to be a referendum, or how the vote is going to be set up. But I think like if the town board is saying no, then that will set other people's moods on this. And I feel like we should first have a referendum and then vote on it, instead of just saying that the town is saying no. It's because you're setting the premise for the conversation.
The other thing I will say, and our attorney will correct me if I'm wrong, whether we opt in or whether we opt out, it is subject to.
If you opt in, it's done, it's over, there's no referendum.
But you've already started the conversation, and you started the conversation with saying no. So
Because the process, the procedure is set by New York State statute. We don't have a choice. That's the process we have to follow.
I understand, but you could decide not to say anything until the very.
No, that's not the process that the state is set up in the statute.
Okay, can you explain it to
The
us?
statute provides that in statewide in New York State, facilities for the retail sale of cannabis products and facilities for the retail consumption of cannabis products can be licensed by the state of New York statewide. The law creates a local option where the local municipality can opt out if it so chooses, but if it chooses to opt out, it has to exercise that option before the end of this year. Otherwise, it's in and it can't opt out. The opt out, if the municipality, meaning the town board in this instance, would choose to go further and opt out, that decision is subject to permissive referendum. So if it comes to the point where after the public hearing, this town board moves by majority vote to adopt that local law and opt out, then there would be a 45-day period within which a petition could be filed with the town clerk with the requisite number of signatures to request that it be put on the ballot. And if the requisite number of signatures are filed in a timely fashion on a proper petition, it would go on the ballot. And then the public would have the opportunity to vote to either confirm the local law or reject the local law.
What is the timeline to opt out? What was the very last moment you could opt out?
If the opt-out is not done by the end of this year, December 31st, 2021, the ability to opt out is gone forever.
Have you already opted out?
That's the process that we're engaged in right now, is introducing a local law and holding a public hearing on it next month. And once the public hearing is done, then this board will decide in its capacity whether or not to opt out or not.
So we haven't filed any petitions to opt out as of yet.
Well, there's nothing to petition yet because the local law hasn't been adopted yet.
Okay.
Only if the local law is adopted, electing to opt out, will the public then be in a position to file a petition for there to ultimately be a vote on.
Understood. And who decided who the authority, the person who's going to be speaking on behalf of this going to be? How was that person selected?
That's not for the town board. I'm gonna close it. It's a private thing. It was done through the union. He was going to speak here. He had a conflict to be here.
I'm just trying to understand if he's a pro person or.
He's a person that was involved in the writing of the law.
Okay, so he's unbiased.
But he's presenting both sides.
Okay,
He's presenting both sides.
all right.
And he's very well qualified.
Scar, you had a question? It's the last question from the floor.
It wasn't a question, it was a comment, and I absolutely applaud the person who's talking about the bathrooms in town. That has been a chronic problem for years and years. If you are working on Main Street, as I often am, and you have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old sobbing, they want to go to the bathroom, and there's nothing within any kind of distance to do that. It is so simple to solve this. You can get 2 porta potties, put them into that little recessed niche on the Wayne Bank side there, the parking lot side. If they're maintained, they do not smell, they're off out of sight, but they'll have a sign that says restrooms, and that would give people access to bathrooms. I don't blame anybody with a restaurant that doesn't want, the whole world talking through there. But we're encouraging these people to come and see our beautiful town and buy in our stores and eat in our restaurants. And when they're out there on the street, they need a place to be able to use the bathroom. It's just that simple. And this is a very simple, easy way to solve it.
Crystal, who do we have on Zoom?
We have Lisa DeAndrea.
Hi.
Before you do, Lisa, I did miss Kevin. I apologize.
This
Kevin.
is a really nerdy point. Copy it or
Just a
division.
little loud.
This is a really nerdy point, but in your division highway report, you said you used 387.9 gallons. 3 was for the highway and 2,380 was.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned 384. The 2 was a typo.
Okay.
It was like 384.
That's
That's
for the record.
correct.
There's a record, so, you know, just saying. That's the proofreader. in there.
At least we know somebody's reading the agenda.
I appreciate that. I'll have them send their reports to you before I get them.
Okay, who do you have, Lisa?
Lisa, we have.
Hi, thank you. I wanted to bring up or follow up on something that we had discussed at the last meeting with respect to the solar farm mowing. You all had directed me, or Mr. Johnson, you had directed me to Jim Crowley and said that he was responsible for making sure that that area is mowed. I actually called him and spoke with him, and he knew nothing about it. He was referring me to the New York Power Authority and saying that the Power Authority is who I needed to contact to ensure that the solar farm is mowed. It was only after I pressed and kept saying that you all had directed me to him that he had me file a complaint, but I have not heard anything at all with respect to what, if anything, is going to be done about that. There's also, I think I mentioned last time, there's deer. There's more deer now in that fenced in area. So I just want to bring this to your attention that nothing's being done. Like I said, it was only mowed once. I haven't seen it being mowed since that one time. The trees also are an ongoing issue. The trees have not, the issue with the trees and the visibility of the solar farm has not been remedied. There's dead trees. They were planted above ground. You know, if this is an ongoing issue, I don't know who within the town is going to enforce this contract that Delaware Solar, or the promises that Delaware Solar made to the town when they got permission to put the solar farm there.
I had my last conversation with Jim today on an update on that, and he does have some phone calls in. He has also been directed through myself by way of our attorney on what actions to take on it. So there will be some actions forthcoming. I cannot give you a time frame on what they are. He is waiting for calls back from New York State on a couple of issues that he wants to clarify. But things are moving forward. It's not that they have not done anything.
So he's called, so Jim Crowley, you said he made a couple of calls to whom? To the Power Authority or to? Who within-
All I'm saying is that he is working on it. He gave me an update today. He has some agencies that have not responded back to him. He has also been instructed by myself what to do on advice of the attorney. So it is being worked on.
Okay, I would ask that I be kept apprised because this is a complaint that I put in and it's been radio silence since I filed the complaint, which I believe is unacceptable.
He can only move as fast on certain things as when he gets called back from the agencies that he's asking assistance from.
I understand. However, I filed the written complaint and never heard a single word from him.
Okay.
That's the issue I have. The second issue I have is on Wood Oak Drive, near the solar farm, there's, if you continue along Wood Oak Drive and not turn, it's not it doesn't have a name, the little street, but there's a little street that goes up into a dead end area. It's a wooded area. My understanding is that that parcel of land had been sold recently within the past 6 months to a year via tax. I believe it was a tax. It was definitely a via auction. On that parcel of land are 2 open shipping containers with garbage and debris spilling out of them. They have been open and spilling out for some time now that I've observed. I had been told that that property had been owned by somebody who was deceased, but now that there is a live owner, I'd like to know what the town is going to do with respect to these open shipping containers that has multiple debris. There's also been some unusual vehicle traffic and activity up at that location. That's a little questionable that I will be speaking to the state police about. So who within the town enforces the open shipping containers with the garbage and the debris?
You start with the code enforcement or the DEC and do it as an illegal dump if that's what it is. How long has it been up there?
The shipping containers have been there, to my knowledge, at least 2 years.
And how long has the
And I
garbage
was
been there?
told, and I was told that they were there prior to that for several other years. And I'm sorry, what was your question?
How long has the garbage been up there?
It's coming out of the ship. The shipping containers are not closed. They're open and the doors are open, and coming out of it is whatever garbage is stored inside of there is spilling out. So it appears that somebody opened the shipping container and started taking stuff out. There's filing cabinets, there's all sorts of things up there.
Sounds like a code enforcement issue. I will talk to him.
Jim Crowley?
Yep,
So you're saying you will talk to him, or you would like for me to talk to him? Just to be
I'll
clear.
talk to him. I'll let him know.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And somebody will get back to me to let me know what the results of that is.
Eventually they will. I can't give you a time frame on when he's gonna do it. Which that you'll see in our. He's busy. I will give it to him. We will try to get a timely resolution for you, what to do. Randy, Tony? Tony Ritter. Tony Ritter.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes,
Oh, that's great. Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you very much for including Zoom going forward at your meetings. It's very important, and since the digital technology exists, I'm glad that the board has embraced that. I have a very short question. It's under old business 2.8, and that's the Little Lake Erie Culvert. Last time I appeared was in June of this year, and my question was about the same topic, and the response that I had gotten was that there was one holdout. Everybody else was ready to go forward with the right of way. So tonight I anxiously awaited, after 3 months, what has transpired. And we're waiting, the town is waiting to receive the right of way from, I would assume, this one holdout. So the question that I've got is, has that, whatever was holding it up between the town and that one person, has that been reconciled?
we believe that it has, and we're hoping to move forward. I believe the last email I got today, hopefully by October.
Oh, that's wonderful news. So you have been in touch, and then basically you almost have a green light. Maybe you'll have good news for us that enjoy Little Lake Erie in October. If that is the case, when do you think work will begin on this?
If we are lucky and things work out in October, they can do their letting, and we're looking at maybe the spring, I believe they're talking. Yeah, the spring of 22.
Okay, so after the spring thaw, they would start. And then basically the last question I've got is moot if everything is on the right track. And I think I asked this before because I don't like to lose money. It's probably directed to Jane, who is spearheading this this project. Is there a deadline that this grant must be used? Is there a deadline in time?
The best I can tell you is that she's been getting extensions, so I cannot speak to the exact deadline of it. But they have-
You're saying she's getting extensions from the state,
Yes,
and the state understands that we're doing our due diligence in trying to push this project forward, correct?
that's why they're giving us extensions.
Good, okay, that's great. Thank you very much.
It's Iris. I would like to mention something. I'm not sure if I'm doing it appropriately, if I can be heard.
Iris, I'm gonna only make you wait because Brandy has patiently waited, and I called her right before you.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. You could let Iris ahead. I don't care.
You're my last two, and then we're going back to the meeting, so go ahead.
Okay. All right, I'll make it quick, Iris. I I just wanted to reiterate, thanks, Ben, for mentioning at the opening of the meeting about the presentation over at the Union. It's called the Catskills Cannabis Consortium. And basically, it's not just David Hollins, who is an expert, and he's somebody who actually crafted the New York State law, but he's going to have a panel of experts discussing legalization, industrial hemp, farming, medical uses, and research, and what opting out really means. So it's the county legislators are going to be attending. He's gotten some really good response across the county. And I really do encourage the residents, the businesses, and especially the town board to attend, just to ask your questions and to learn from these guys, because I'm sure they have a lot to tell us. And we have an economic connection to this, and I don't want to just shoot it down before you understand all the ramifications. Dispensaries these days are not back alley kind of operations. They're highly regulated, they're clean and secure, and they bring a lot of revenue to town. And I just wanted you guys to have an open mind and learn like everybody else. Thank you. And thanks for the Zoom. I appreciate that.
Not a problem. Iris.
Thank you. I do appreciate the Zoom, and I agree very much about everybody attending to be informed as much as possible. I wanted to reiterate what Star had mentioned about Porter Sands. There was a lot of discussion prior to your administration, Ben, about something being done about that, because that's been an ongoing problem. I do definitely support having a couple of Porter Sands that are maintained, and it will take away from the businesses having to keep saying no. And so I think that that's something that really the town needs to move forward on, my opinion. Thanks for letting me speak.
You're welcome. Okay, great.
Yes.
Moving into new business, 5.1, creation of a parking committee. The purpose of the parking committee is to investigate and determine parking needs and improvements needed within the hamlet. Jill, I don't think I spoke to you about this. Okay. We spoke to Bruce and Don. We do have one person, a business owner that's asked to do it, Laura Santana. And we could open that up, obviously, to other business owners that feel they would like to be part of that, I believe. Well, I would make the motion to establish this parking committee with those members. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
If anyone wants to become part of this committee, how do they join?
They can contact you or contact me, and I can bring it to the board.
All right.
5.2, the fall beautification plant swap. A motion to authorize a beautification committee to hold their annual fall plant swap on Saturday, October 2nd, 2021, and that's usually held here in the parking lot.
Yes,
of
and that is the right date, correct?
Yes.
That's why I got them confused. I was excited about plants, I'm sorry.
Plants is spelled with a T. So I would make a motion to that. A second?
Second.
Second by Jill, all in favor? Opposed. 5.3 is the Narrowsburg Water and Sewer District Water Tower. The only thing we don't have in here, Al, is an amount to do it, so it has to be through the. I think you would have to notify the committee, but at least this gets him authorized to go out and do it, find one and get it here. No, we talked about $2,000.
We can't hear you.
That's
I can barely
okay.
hear you.
That's right.
So basically, he's looking for authorization to go out and find these, the transducer and maybe the electrical.
Correct, yeah, he's looking for the ability to go out, find it. If it's within the price range that he's discussed within the committee, be able to purchase it according to our procurement policy.
Okay, so who's on the committee?
You've been working with him and it's supposed to be Jane and I, but you and Jane have been working with him on this. And he's doing this off the suggestion to move it So that if he finds one in a week, he doesn't have to wait until October to go ahead and start doing the work to get this in.
Okay.
So that's what that was. But authorization for the Narrowsburg Water and Sewer intern superintendent to purchase a water tower transducer and retain an electrical hookup for the water tower, as opposed to doing it with the solar that they've done in the past.
I wouldn't. know.
Any questions from the board on that? I would second. All in favor? Aye, opposed? 2022 budget, we need to set budget workshops in the month of October. I figure we can use the first budget workshop on the 5th, which is our normal work session. That way, we've got that taken care of. Do we think we're going to need more than one?
Determine that.
Other than we'll need the amount of time to properly set it up. Maybe we'll pick two, and if we have to cancel one, we can do it that way. Jill, you've got work, and Bruce, you've got school.
Well, my work is lessons, it's really mostly weekend.
Okay, so
For
you're
October.
okay, Bruce.
School every day.
Are you getting any smarter? Nope. Okay. Preference on it, a day of the week.
Not a Friday.
Okay, yeah, Thursdays and Fridays are best. We're looking at Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. If we do you want to do them back to back, the 5th and the 6th, or?
Not me, I'd rather the next week.
Well, that's a town board meeting. Do you want to do it either?
Monday.
That's Columbus Day, which is fine. I mean, I have no problem. on the
You know, the
11th.
19th.
You want to do the 11th?
No.
Or,
No,
okay.
19th.
Brings us to the 19th. That's a Tuesday.
Second is okay.
Okay. We'll do the 19th, and we'll do the 5th. I'm sorry? No, it's just a session, just like our last one was. We do have some budget modifications. The first is the park maintenance personnel. We would decrease the parks contractual and increase the park maintenance personnel.
What do you have the back on page?
What you telling me? Right, increase. We're gonna increase the park maintenance personnel by 3,000 and decrease the parks contractual by 3,000. That was part of the lawn mowing that we had gotten as personnel, so that's the reason for that one. Increase the building maintenance personnel by 1,200 and decrease the building expenses by 1,200. Increase unallocated insurance by $706.19 and decrease building expense by $706.19. Part of that reason was the purchase of the new building, our insurance rates. Increase the bookkeeper's contractual by 100 and decrease her bookkeeper's equipment by 100. Increase the court officer personnel by 1,700, decrease the building expense by 1,700. Part of that was due to the COVID regulations that the New York State Office of Courts Administration had placed upon, and that should get it to the end of the year. Increase the assessor's contractual by 200 and decrease the engineering contractual by 200. Part of that was the issues he had with his computer over the last month. I would make a motion to authorize those budget modifications. Any questions on those? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This is not on the agenda at 5.6. The planning board meetings being moved to the fourth Tuesday of the month from the third Tuesday of the month. And that would begin with this coming month's meetings. It allows the town clerk to have enough time to advertise the new date. And that's coming about because we had a conflict with some of the people that need to be there.
So it's moving from third week.
The third week, same time, 6:30, I believe,
7:30.
7:30. That was a test. That doesn't need to be a formal motion. Okay.
Not by you. I think it needs to be announced that the planning board stuff is.
Correct. One other thing, 5.7, I did mention in the beginning of the meeting on a correspondence to make, I had somebody wishing to make the 10 Mile River A Road a one-way road coming in by the Stone Arch Bridge and coming out by the State Route 97. And that would be something that would have to be approved by the board if they wanted to do it. I spoke with Don. He said the only way you could do it because of the way the turn is on 97 would be you'd have to come in off of 97 and come out by the Stone Arch. I don't see a reason to be changing that at this point. Does the board wish to entertain moving forward with it at all? It is. It's no different than the Coshocton Turnpike.
Yeah, there's a lot of one-way roads in town. Deal with it.
With a lack of any accidents reported on it, I don't see a reason to move forward with it.
Not only that, but it lends itself to the fluoroveness of the engine.
And the Model A is used to go past. There is one more correspondence that I received at 4:30 today. That also is not on the agenda. And it is from Juliet Vermont. I'm ready to introduce and seek approval for a temporary installation of an art piece by artist Elisa Evans. The installation is sponsored by the DVAA's grant. The site selection was made in collaboration with the Narrowsburg Beautification Group and Tustin Heritage Community Garden. Talberry represents the artist through Eco Practicum, and he is CC'd here for any questions. We are wishing to see the 6x18 piece installed for a duration of 7 weeks or so on Demora Lane, more precisely in the town property between the Narrowsburg Beautification Gardens and the front of the Tustin Heritage Community. Projected dates are 17th of September through the 8th of November. The piece is entitled All the Way to Hell, imagines ways to use art to disrupt fossil fuel development. Elisa inherited 4 acres of land in Oklahoma, which sat squarely within an area that fracking companies were seeking to exploit as a single owner of a tiny plot. Elisa couldn't prevent herself from being strong-armed into a lease, but by subdividing her property into 1,000 pieces and leasing each to a separate owner, she can make it technically unfeasible or unprofitable to even try putting a stop to fracking in her area. Through this conceptual art action, she is working to widen the practice. The installation itself would be representation of one of the lots Evans is currently leasing in Oklahoma, 1/1000th of her land. There amounts to 140 square feet, which would be sectioned off with metal siding. The interior of that space would be lined with tarp and filled with gravel to provide for easy deinstall. In the center of the space, small cabinet holds flyers and pamphlets describing the project and allowing people to express interest in leasing one of these plots. The cabinet would be held up by a post 40 inches high that would need to be embedded about 24 inches in the ground beneath. The installation alludes to the gravel used in the fracking pads, as well as a little free library trend about inspiring community learning. The DVAA is currently seeking insurance for the installation piece. The town of Tustin will be named as an extra insured. The installation and breakdown of the piece is the artist's responsibility. The bluestone gravels will be reallocated to the garden front parking area after breakdown. There is a picture of that in there, and you can go down there. There's 4 stakes out there where it is.
It's right
Jen, do
behind-
you see any issues with this one?
Get insurance. very bonded.
It's right behind, our, where the propane. tank is.
Yes, and there are 4 stakes that are. The town owns a piece of property with the access to gardens. That's what.
Don't know, the 24 inches in the ground, I don't know if that's.
It might not, be, but they'll be lucky to get 24 inches in that ground. It's all rock.
Alan, Bruce, when you do speak, please speak louder.
Okay, thanks.
They can barely hear you and I can't hear you.
Jane, any questions on that?
No, when I read it, it said metal wall and closed or something, and I thought, oh, it's gonna be like a room, but it isn't.
No, it's with the
just-
picture, you can see
yeah,
they're
it's
using
just a
metal
couple
as the
inches. A retainer.
retainer for the
Gravel.
gravel.
Yeah. And it's only a short period of time.
7 weeks. I would entertain a motion authorizing the use of the property pending the receipt of the insurance that would cover the town for the artwork to be displayed on the property as described.
I'll make that one.
I have a motion from Al, a second from Jill, all in favor? Aye, opposed. We did. It was quick, it was efficient, it was thorough. Do you want to update how you made out?
Yeah. How many holes do I have for my body? They, the grant application that we put in for the Upper Delaware Council grant included our zoning update and some monies for the parking area to get a survey, to get an appraisal, to get an engineered drawing of the everything. And they just don't understand why that is related to the river management plan, even though Evan and I did argue that it's clearly related. The problem is when they think of water and the river, they don't think of just viewing it as an activity. They only think of activities as getting your feet wet, and getting in a canoe or kayak. So that's where we left it.
Well, we will still move forward with that regardless.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta speak up so she can hear.
Where's the
No,
parking lot?
Bridge Street, the dentist office.
Oh, okay, yeah. I can see the clarification. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to reopen the public comment period. Start with here. Steve?
Two things. King, on what you just said, that they view it as they want you to get your feet wet rather than viewing the river. What if you made a boat launch?
I
somewhere?
said to them, I said, I understand what you're saying, but I only brought them pictures of phase 1, but I said future phases include taking the observation deck down to the river, so to speak, and we kind of envisioned maybe you ride your kayak or your canoe or something, park it, come up for lunch. And I said, if that helps, they didn't say much.
And part 2 is, can you clarify what you said before, that there's a parking committee
Yes,
and who's in charge of it?
there's gonna be 2 board members on it. That's to be determined who will be in charge of it.
Okay.
Would you like to be on it?
I can be on, yes.
So, yes.
It was inevitable because James is gonna hunt you down.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah. Well,
And did you say that Laura is on this committee? Okay, I love Laura, I know her very well, but is it a conflict of interest that she has the biggest project being developed right now and she's going to be on it?
No, because any of the decisions have to have board approval. It's going to be up to the board to make decisions. All this committee can do is make
So
recommendations.
then she'll be clearer than ever what she has to go through.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so then there's a big benefit. Because I'm scared about that. I mean, I love the property, I love what they're gonna do there, and I'm afraid of parking. It's tough enough as it is.
Yes.
And bathrooms. And bathrooms. You missed me, Jane.
It was very eloquent.
Excellent,
I
excellent.
brought up that we have a bathroom shortage now.
And that's nothing new. I mean,
Well, but I do
really-
think if you're gonna give a permit to somebody and they're gonna have tables in their place, then they can't serve them coffee and send them into my laundromat to use the bathroom. So there's something wrong there. And I look upon somebody who has a business that doesn't allow a patron to use the bathroom. I don't want to patronize that place. So, but like, when there is somebody going before the board to get a permit for something, this is a serious consideration. Thank you.
Like,
Hi, yeah, so, I guess maybe a little bit relevant to this parking committee. I know for years there's been talk about traffic problems in town. I still hear people driving around really recklessly late at night. I view that as a much, much more urgent problem than parking. We have a parking lot right here that I've never seen full. It's only about 50 paces from Main Street. I really hope that the parking committee will actually think about all vehicular traffic matters. I live in town. I think most people who live in town actually don't feel safe at night because we hear so much zooming around, so much reckless driving. I know there are the speed monitors up in a couple of places. I think that's a welcome development, but it hasn't made the difference. My own view is that what we probably need are speed bumps or speed cameras. I know speed cameras are legally challenging. I would love to hear from you guys, seeing that I'm a newcomer to one of these meetings, where we stand on that stuff and if anything can be done, because I hate living in this town and thinking that nothing can be done. It's just the weather. It's not the weather. It's people's activity and we have the power to regulate it. I think that's.
Anybody else on the floor before I go to the computers? Crystal? No, I can talk. I can have a conversation with them regarding that.
I am Lisa DeAndrea.
Yes, Lisa.
Thanks. I just had a quick question. A couple of times there's been mention by some of the participants at the meeting with respect to a big project going on Main Street. What exactly is that? Is there some sort of big buildings? I heard somebody say, is there a development going up on Main Street?
The building you're referring to is the old funeral home furniture store. It's been sold.
Okay, is there a permit for
They
rebuilding
haven't
it?
come before the planning board yet.
They haven't, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
They haven't come before the planning board yet.
Okay. Do we know what is intended or what is proposed to be intended? It seems like people in town already know, or people at least with businesses on Main Street know what's intended to be there.
We don't know what they want to do because they have not come before the planning board. It is rumored that they want to put retail space. It's rumored that they want to put apartments in there. So until they come before the planning board, I don't think we can really comment accurately what they want to do.
Thank you.
Any other public comments?
I don't see anything.
Yes.
So, talking about the 2022 budget, I just hope the town will not allocate too much money for the whatever the porta party or the public bathroom on the Main Street, because the town money is for the entire residents. It's not just for the Main Street. Yes, town is supposed to be a responsible part of it, but I hope all the Main Street they will chip in to have the whatever the public bathroom or porta party. Thank you. May I say something?
Best one, absolutely, Star.
Okay, first of all, everyone.
Not, I don't want to get into a debate about
No, I'm not
it. If you're
getting
gonna
into a
just be
I'm just
reiterating that
saying-
you want
I'm
the
just
public
saying
bathrooms, I
The
understand.
bathrooms are not just for people on Main Street or anything else. Bathrooms are necessary. It's been a problem for years that they don't have any access on Main Street. And to say that we should not put them in there because it's going to benefit only the Main Street people is ridiculous.
Closing items, board comment?
I missed it all.
You missed most of it, but I will fill you in or can. Jill, anything?
Nice to be back.
Good to have you back. Al? I'm good. Bruce? No. Meeting reminder that the town board special meeting agenda workshops are held in person only. The town board regular meeting will be hybrid in person. The Zoom and the Zoom ID is posted. If there's no other business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion from Jane, a second by Jill, all in favor? Aye, opposed. Thank you.